Practice today's one-string warm-up for a week and I guarantee you're going to see increases in your hand synchronization and picking speed. Check it out. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy Uncle Ben, and as some of you guys may have already noticed, I have a cold. But a noggin full of snot ain't enough to keep me away from my sworn and sacred duty to edumacate the future shred-eye nights of tomorrow. So on today's video, I'm going to show you guys a really excellent warm-up that you can practice in the key of E minor to increase your hand synchronization, work on staying relaxed while you play, increase your picking speed, all the good stuff that you need to become a more better shredder. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today, even for just $1 a month, you're gonna get all kinds of good stuff like downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, plus access to a community of awesome people just like yourself. This week, everybody's also gonna get practice tracks to go along with this exercise at a variety of different tempos, as well as the MIDI files to go along with it so you can make your own perfect practice session. So don't delay. Sign up today. Thanks. Gear-wise for today's video, I'm playing my lovely Suhr modern Terra into the Fractal Audio Axe-Fx 3. I'm also running a healthy dose of DayQuill to keep the snot from dripping on the strings. And while I've got you distracted with this beautiful guitar, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. Just takes a second, hit that subscribe button over there. I was checking out my YouTube analytics the other day and something like 60% of my views come from people who aren't subscribed to my channel. You guys are missing out on notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Thanks guys. Before we get going, let's hear that lick again at stepdad speed. Alright, yeah, this exercise is based around your second string, and it uses the E minor scale, which is this set of notes right here. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and E. Now the cool thing is, if you know where all those notes are on a different string, you could also play this entire exercise on that string instead in a different octave. Really good to do that, that way you get comfortable playing on all different strings as well as learn those notes in all the different positions on the neck. So now that you're familiar with the scale, let's talk about the actual exercise that we're doing here. We're going to take that scale and break it into 3-note chunks that move up and down the neck with some particular sequencing that I'm applying for scientific reasons. Okay, here's the first pattern of notes that we're going to play. We're going to have our middle finger here on the E note. We're going to be using the note above it, which is F sharp. We're also going to be using the note below it in the scale, which is this D note right here. Now the pattern that we're going to play goes like this. You're going to start off on your middle finger, walk up, back to middle, walk down, then you're just going to kind of loop that like this. So I played that 3 times in a row. And then after that you're going to end by playing just that middle finger note one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I started this off with the middle finger because so many of our patterns that we play have us relying on the first finger to kind of guide us through the lick, you know. I think it's important to be really fluid with leading with whatever finger is on the board at the time, at the start of a lick, at the end of a lick, in the middle, whatever. It's important to be flexible, so we're going to be putting the middle note in this case at the forefront of every one of these patterns. After this, what we're going to do is move up to the next 3-note sequence, E, F sharp, and G, and apply that same idea. So you're going to start off on the middle note, in this case the F sharp, go up, back to middle, down, that's your sequence, 2, 3, and then end on the root note again right here. Next, move up to the next sequence in the scale here. We're going to be using the notes F sharp, G, and A. It's going to sound like this. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we should have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 rest. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 rest. Now I'm really pointing out that rest period right there because I think it's really important to practice in speed bursts as much as you can and use those little rest periods right there to kind of monitor your entire tension level across your body. Licks that have you just playing non-stop, it's really hard to tell if you're building up tension or not, but whenever you play something like this where you're starting and stopping and starting and stopping, you can use those rest periods to really evaluate if you're building up any tension or anything in your hands or anywhere else in your body. The next sequence that we have here is going to be a big stretch. It's going to be using G, A, and B. It's going to sound like this. Next, move it up here to A, B, C and play the pattern. Next, we have B, C, D. C, D, E. And then lastly, you're going to end 1 octave above where you started here with D, E, and F sharp. So that's the entire ascending portion of the exercise. Let's try it again here a little bit more slowly. Straight up alternate picking the entire time. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. If you don't end on a downstroke, you've done something wrong. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now the reason why I map these patterns out the way that I did is because in the left hand they involve a combination of ascending and descending both in the same lick. I think a lot of us practice stuff that's either like exclusively ascending or exclusively descending. It's really important to practice licks where you're doing both, you know? A lot of players struggle with one or the other, but if you practice licks like this that combine them both in one move, up and down, you're sure to get equally good at both of them. So be sure to practice patterns like this as much as you can. Here's one thing I want to point out too before we get to the descending portion of the lick. Whenever I am playing scale patterns that are moving across the neck like this, something you can do to help you visualize these more better is this, and it's a really simple idea. Let's say you were in the second position of the lick, right? The one that used E, F sharp, and G. And I'm kind of questioning like, gosh, what does the next pattern look like? Like if I can't remember what the pattern feels like, looks like, what the fingerboard numbers are, what the notes are, what the intervals are, however it is that you're doing it. One thing that's always a help is look at the pattern that you're in right now, right? The middle and high notes, in other words these two, not this guy, the low note, but the middle and the high note, are going to become the new low and middle note of the next pattern. And you know it's not going to be this note or anything because there's no chromaticism in that scale. So therefore it has to be that one. In the next pattern, it's going to start off with those two notes now. So now that you've played the highest position of the exercise, we're going to pull a Missy Elliott and flip it and reverse it. We're going to start walking down the neck here, and we're also going to change up what that sequencing pattern is. Okay, so look at it this way. Before we were playing the middle note, then the high note, then the middle note, then the low note. Just reverse all that stuff. You're going to play the middle note, the lower note, the middle note, the higher note. Okay, that's your basic pattern now. 1, 2, 3, ending on the middle note on repetition number 4. Again, it's really important to educate those fingers into being able to go into any pattern that you want to, whether it's up first then down, down first then up, whatever. Okay, next we're going to move down to the C-D-E position of the scale. Just retracing our steps from earlier. B-C-D. ABC. This is the GAB position. F sharp G A pattern. E F sharp G pattern. That DayQuill's really got me messing up my letters. Then you got the D E F sharp pattern to end. And that's the entire thing. So let's take it up and down here one more time together. Now we reverse it. There you go, that's the entire thing. Now, like I said earlier, you could take that exact same pattern of the different positions through that scale and practice those on a different string in order to learn that scale across all the strings. For example, in the intro that you heard, I recorded that part in the octave that we just covered, as well as down one octave, starting here off on the D string, E note. Meant I also had to use the open position D string right there, like this. You get the idea. You could also practice it here from this E note, from this E note. You get the idea. So just basically learning that exercise and all those sequences in as many positions as you can, it's really going to help you learn the board a lot better. Because even if you just learn where the E note is, on each of those strings, heck, that's some progress right there. So try to take this exercise and play it across multiple different string sets. So like I said, I'm going to be uploading the practice tracks on Patreon at a variety of different tempos, but I think the absolute best thing you can do is to take the MIDI files I'm going to upload in there, import those into your DAW, and then make your own perfect practice session, finding exactly the BPM that you need to be working on and slowly increasing the tempo from there. This is something I get a question about a lot. I really need to do a this is why you suck at guitar, you suck at using a metronome video. Let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in, because it's something I've wanted to do for a long time, because I see a lot of players struggle learning how to use their metronome. But if you're practicing this with your click, or you're practicing this with the practice tracks in your DAW, and you're not sure about how much you should be increasing the speed, keep this in mind. Okay, just got to do a little bit of math and magic right here, okay? Don't be scared. I was homeschooled. If I can do it, I know that you can. So think of it this way. This exercise is based on 16th notes, right? 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. So that means for every beat that goes by, we're cramming 4 notes into it. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If you're playing this exercise of straight 16s at 100 BPM, so 100 beats per minute, you're cramming 4 notes into every one of those beats. That means that you are playing 400 notes per minute, right? Okay, now let's say you think that's too easy. So then you bump your metronome up to 110, okay? It's just 10 faster on the metronome, right? It's not just 10 faster in our hands though, due to that subdivision. Okay, check this out. 16th notes at 100 BPM was 400 notes per minute. If we do the exact same thing with the metronome at 110, we got 110 beats per minute. We're cramming 4 notes into each of those. That's actually 440 notes per minute. So even though the metronome only went up 10 per minute, your hands just went up 40 per minute. That is a huge change in speed. So don't let that deceive you. A small increase on the metronome equals 4 times as much in our hands. So don't be afraid to really slowly creep up with the tempo there. Go from 100 to 102. After you can do that perfectly for a while, then maybe move up to 104, 105. I recommend going in like 2 to 3 beat increments whenever you're working on straight 16th notes because of how quickly those notes multiply. So be sure to take your time with it. Only increase the speed if you can play it absolutely perfectly several times in a row without any, bad tension or anything bogging you down as you play. So there you go, guys, a great warm-up in the neighborhood of E minor that's going to get your hands synchronized, it's going to get your pick moving more faster, it's going to get you finally getting the respect of your dad back. Pretty much everything that we all need all the time. Thank you guys so much for checking it out. Be sure to grab those practice tracks over on the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Even just $1 a month gets you access to those tracks as well as a ton of other stuff. I just put up a really fun vlog style video the other day of me learning Youth Gone Wild by Skid Row, fun stuff. There's all kinds of goodies on there, so don't delay, sign up today. Thanks so much for liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Be sure to ring the bell down there for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but as for me, it's time to get away from the camera and I gotta teach some Skype lessons and probably take some cold medicine and have some chicken soup or something, see if I can get myself feeling a little bit more better. But as for you guys, I recommend getting away from the computer, tablet, whatever it is you're looking at this thing on, maybe your scrying materials or your magical orbs, whatever it is that you use to watch these videos. Anyway, I recommend getting away from that thing, grabbing your guitar, getting to work on this great exercise. Less clicking, more picking.